Hello, creatives. It is me, Lady Hell, and today we're going to be connecting our Slack to our N8N. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's like three different parts that go into this, but if you follow this step by step, do exactly what I say do. So if you type me and say, oh, mine's not connected and all that, that's probably because you didn't do exactly what I said do. Even if you have to pause and play while we go along with this, all right, because I know I can talk fast sometimes, but I'm going to try to be as slow as possible but to make sure that you get your Slack together. For those of you who ain't never used Slack, Slack is it's a free tool. They got some premium stuff, but it's a free tool that you can use to communicate with your staff, with your folks, with your community, how whatever you want to do. Okay, so we're gonna create that today because that's what we are going to be using as a tool. When people submit their forms. So this is part one. So when you go into your NAN over here, you're going to go into the tab that says credentials. Okay, as you notice, your credentials that are in there. But you're going to come over here and you're going to put create credential. When you put create credential, you're going to type Slack O auth 2 and you're going to say continue. Right now, we only going to need the the URL redirect. From there, you're going to need to go to api.slack.com/apps. Okay. And once you go there, it's going to bring up this. Make sure you're signed in, and please make sure you are the administrator or the work owner of that account. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do this. But as long as you are the administrator of that workspace, you will be able to do this. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to create an app. Go ahead and name your bot. I'm gonna just say Bree. Okay, Bree the bot. That's what she's gonna be named. Why is she named Bree? Crystal, why do you name all your bots Bree? Because Bree is just Bree. You're gonna pick the workspace. Mine is Creative Space CRM. That's the workspace that I own. I'm in some other spaces, but that's my space, right? The Creative Space CRM. And then I'm gonna say create the app. Now, once I have create the app, I'm going to go down here to where it says off, off and permissions. Okay. This part is very important. Okay. So before what you're going to do, you're going to go down first to the area where it says scopes. Scopes are the permissions that you want your bot to have, that you want your bot to do, right? You got to give it permission, but them things are called scopes. Okay, you're gonna constantly hear that as well, but I'll be make sure that as we're continuing to learning this, that I'm make it as plain sense as possible. Okay, this is like what permissions do you give your bot to do when you see the scopes. So you're gonna add an auth scope, and these are the basic ones that you need. If you need to give it some more permissions, you can give it some more permissions. Okay, so the app, you're gonna put mention read that. You're gonna add history, so it's channel history. Okay. Then you're going to add channel channel read, just like so. Then you're gonna add chat write. Then you're going to add group read. So group read. Now if you need more, then guess what? Give it the whatever scopes that you need. Okay. So now once you have done that, we're gonna scroll up because now we need to put the redirect. So we're going to go back over into NAN and we're going to copy that redirect over here. Everybody, your redirect may not be, it's not the same as my redirect because my redirect is hosted on my own server. All right. So we're going to come over here. We're going to copy and paste that redirect. And then we're going to say add. Then from there, then we're going to say save. Okay. Now that we have our scopes, we have our URL redirect. We're going to click on right here where it says install to, and it's going to say your space. Mine says the Creative Space CRM. It's going to say, whatever yours is. And then I'm going to say install. Okay. Again, you have to be an admin or the owner in order to go further than this. If you are not, it's going to give you a thing that says you can't do this because you're not the owner of this thing. So I'm going to make sure that I say, yes, I am giving it permission. Then from there, it's going to give me a token, right? So once it gives me the token, I'm going to go back over here inside of the credentials, and I'm going to exit out of this because I told y'all we don't need this right now. We're going to come back to it, but we don't need it. Okay, I'm just going to say close. I'm going to go over here and go to create credentials, and then I'm gonna put Slack API. All right. I'm going to press continue. Now the token that I just got, which is this auth token, okay, I'm gonna need to put it inside of here, and I'm going to press save. Okay. Once I have pressed this save and it has connected successfully, it's going to tell me right there that it connected successfully. All right. So from there, we're done with that credential. But I need to also name it. Okay. So I'm gonna say Bree the bot API. Okay. So it knows. And then I'm going to press save. I always label my credentials so I know what credentials go where. All right. So from there, then I'm going to go to the credentials again. I'm going to press create credentials, and then I'm going to put Slack O off two. Okay. I'm going to say continue from there. Now I need to do my client ID and my client secret. All right. So now that we have all of this, all of this stuff over here and all of that going on, we're going to go to basic information. Once we go to the basic information, we're going to grab the client ID and we're gonna put it in there. I'm gonna press pause while I put my secret in there because I can't be showing you my secret. You're gonna press show. Oh, hold on, let me do this. Do it like this. So you're gonna press show. Once you press show, you're gonna highlight the thing. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna come back over here and then I'm gonna paste my secret. Once I have pressed my secret, then I'm going to say connect my account, and I'm going to say connect my account, and it's going to say Bree the bot is asking for permission, yada yada yada, for your space, right? And I'm like, cool. We're gonna let her do that, and then it's going to let us know that we have successfully connected. Now, even though we have successfully connected both the API and the authentication stuff, right? We still got a couple of more things. We have a couple of more permissions that we need to give the bot. So we need to go back into our API. And once we go into the API there, we're going to go down here to where it says event subscriptions. Once we go to event subscriptions, we got to turn this on. Once we turn this on, okay, we need to go down here where it say, I'm gonna do this URL, all that good stuff like that, because I'm gonna show you how to do it. Right here where it says subscribe to bot events, we're gonna hit this. We're gonna add a bot user event, and it's just gonna be app mentioned. That's all you need. That's like literally all you need right now. Then we're gonna press save. Okay. Now, once we have done that, we need to test the bot to make sure that it is receiving information. Now it's time to test to make sure we done configured all the stuff that we need to configure. So in order to do that, to test it, remember inside of N8N you have two things. You have testing and then you have production. Production is when it's called. Testing is that you're testing inside you're testing inside the environment. So what I'm just gonna do, I'm just gonna open up a new workflow, and I'm just gonna this. I'm tired of people taking money from me, and on this Lord Jesus. And on this particular workflow, I'm gonna label this Slack. Slack test. I'm just gonna label this a Slack test, okay? Because we're gonna use the integration later, but we just need to make sure that it is talking to what it needs to talk to. So from there, we're gonna add the first step. And on the first step, we're just going to come in here, search these nodes, and we're going to look for the Slack bot, right? And then we're going to say on bot app mentioned, okay? So we want this to activate when the bot is mentioned. So here we go on the web hook, and it's got like a test URL. We're gonna have the test URL, and then we're gonna click it right there because we need to copy that URL. We're gonna come back, and on this part right now, it's not gonna approve it because I don't have it listening for it, right? So it's like, hey, we couldn't verify this and that and a third. So what I'm going to do now is that I am going to okay, you got that from the list. I'm gonna select the thing that it needs to the channel that it needs to listen to, which is my general. So if I come over here, you're gonna see where it says general. But wait before we get there. Now I'm gonna press execute the step so we can make sure that Slack and N8N they talking to each other. Remember I told you, right? Because that's what we configured all that stuff. So we gotta press execute. We come back over here and we're going to tell this retry talking back over there. And so it's going to retry talking back over there. And it's like, okay, cool, we working. And you're going to get the verify sign. If you didn't get the verify sign, you must didn't do something. It's something in your settings you didn't do. So you need to go back and fix that. But if you got the verified, yeah, they talk, the stuff is, the things are talking to each other. Okay. And I'm just going to press save for right now. All right. So now that we know that it's talking to each other, we now need to make sure that Bree is sending information over or triggering, right? That is properly triggering. Okay. So we have this, but right now it didn't send no information. It was just like, yo, we hear you talking to each other. So I'm gonna come over here inside of Slack. And then I'm going to go into the channel where I want to add the bot. And I'm just gonna say add Bree the bot, hi, right? And then it's gonna say, hey, Bree ain't in this channel. You need to add Bree to this channel. And then I'm gonna say, go ahead and add Bree the bot to this channel. Okay. Now I am going to come back over to here to N8N to make sure that I'm getting information. That I'm getting the information from Bree. So I'm gonna say execute the step. I'm gonna come back over here to the Slack, right? I'm gonna be like at Bree, like at Bree, it's me, a lady here. Listen, girl, listen, right? And we're gonna see if this message come over. Okay, I don't have a full automated thing going right now, but what we are doing, we are testing just to make sure that we are receiving the data. We know it can hear from each other, but we need to make sure that whatever data that needs to go over here to trigger some things, we got to make sure that's in place. So I'm gonna send this over, right, and it's listening right now. Bam. Now that it listened, it got the data that came over. So now over here, we have this that looks like a bunch of soup in a bowl, because you're like, what the heck? Then I'm looking for the data that says this. It's me, lady hair, girl, listen, right? So I wanted to make sure that it received the data. So inside of I'm gonna pin this, but inside of the N8N, what's really cool, you have your input data and then you have your output data. Okay. Your input is what is being inputted in there. So this actually came in. And this is the output is what N8N receive, or the input is what come in, and then the output is what goes out. So you have input, whatever your stuff is right here, and the output. The cool thing about N8N as well, whichever one you prefer, JSON is the markup language of N8N. All right. So you can have it where it's in a JSON file, where it has the user, it has the string of information there. It got the stuff that it need to have in there if you want to read it like that. But if this look like gibberish, put it in a table. Everybody understand how to read a table, okay? So right here, what was the text that came in? The text that came in that said, it's me, lady hell, listen, girl, listen, or whatever. The client ID or message ID is the person who actually sent, the who sent it and stuff. Anyway, what we were looking for is for the text that said, "Hey, it's me, Lady Hell." So I know that the bot is working. I know that the different things have been configured, and I also know as well that it is listening. That the data is coming in, and it's able to read that. And as we go right here, you will see that it gave me a green and it's ready to do what I needed to do next. That's how we set up and test, just to make sure that that is working properly. And now that you have your credentials stored inside of there, you don't have to go back and re-put it in there, because you already have it stored and labeled and ready to go. Well, I hope this has helped you, and I hope you got your Slack connected. Let me know below if this helped you. Let me know below if you got an error or something like that. We'll make sure. Wow. We'll make sure. I just got distracted because the cat is over here like jumping. Like whoosh, like bobcat type jumping, and stuff. But anyway, let me know below, and yeah, see you on the other side. Bye.